Okay, guys, I'm going to be talking about dermaplaning, and I call it a facial. And I've also got a video for you today that we're going to be able to be watching and me doing some dermaplaning, so that's going to be great too. So the reason why I call it a facial is that I don't just do a dermaplaning and then goodbye, right? So I do a double cleanse, I do the dermaplaning, I apply a mask, I massage the décolleté, because again, I don't want the client to think that they can just buy this device at home or a home care device. And we'll be talking about some of that today as well, but they're coming to me as a professional to do this exfoliation as well as removing the vellus hair. So I create a whole experience. And I have to say, it's one of my #1 requested services. I'm still in the treatment room. I'm in the treatment room Monday through Wednesdays. And this is one of my favorite services to perform. I also perform the service with different add-ons, which I'm going to explain to you, right? So basically, a dermaplaning is an exfoliation procedure to remove the peach fuzz. For your Georgia peaches out there who are in Atlanta, Georgia. So you may find, funny enough, that some of your clients are a little fuzzier than others, right? So that vellus hair, it's not terminal hair, it's vellus hair on our face. Yes, it's a protection from the environment. It's meant to keep things out. But we know that when we remove the vellus hair, there's a couple of things we're doing. We can help assist with alleviating some hyperpigmentation. The skin is so much brighter. Guess what? The products penetrate so much better, your serums. And there's just so much of a brighter glow because we've kind of removed what I like to call like the bark on a tree. When you think of like the skin, it has layers of dead skin cells, and some people have a really rough texture as well. So by removing that vellus hair and the dead skin cells, then you've got this beautiful complexion. So that's awesome. Okay, so vellus hair covers most of the entire body except for the lips, palms, and soles of feet, says Dr. Ortiz, a board-certified dermatologist. You start off with tons of baby hair, but as you get older, particularly during puberty, it's replaced with thicker hair called terminal hairs. An easy way to understand it is think of the average prepubescent boy's mustache until puberty, when it grows in thicker and becomes terminal hair. Those barely there whiskers are all peach fuzz. Vellus hair becomes terminal hair on your chest, abdomen, legs, arms, and pubic area, and feet, thanks to the production of androgen hormones. So if your clients think that your hair is going to grow back thicker or darker, it's not. It's just the vellus hair. So what are the benefits of dermaplaning? Like I said, this is my favorite service. I can't wait to do it. And I have different ways that I do it as well that I'm going to share with you today. It provides a deeper product penetration, absolutely. It removes soft facial hair that trap dirt and debris, so it really helps with a deep pore cleansing. It promotes a smoother skin. It's a safe procedure for removing dead skin cells, peach fuzz, as well. Reduces the appearance of acne scars, diminishes fine lines and wrinkles, and works on all skin types, so all Fitzpatrick scales, and instant results, and no downtime except for, of course, wearing SPF. So, how often can I dermaplaning? Dermaplaning is usually performed every 3 to 4 weeks. So this could be your monthly service. So there's a little cue there. Let's say your client is coming in for their hydrofacials or their signature facials or their brightening treatments. You can use this as an add-on. When I do an add-on of dermaplaning, I don't discount it. It's the same price if you do a dermaplaning facial or if you do a dermaplaning add-on. Okay, it's the same amount of work, all right? But it's one of my favorite things to do is a dermaplaning with hydrofacial, because all of those serums and that peel can really like penetrate the skin. Dermaplaning plus peel is awesome. It is good to have the skin, it's kind of like a 3 to 4 week cycle, because that's how the hair cycle is growing, right? So really think about once a month is great, okay? People that suffer from acne or have excess oil should not have dermaplaning performed. We're talking about somebody that has pustular acne. We're not going to want to break open those pustules, okay? We also want to be careful not to spread bacteria on the skin. All right, post-procedure. Sometimes after dermaplaning, the skin will end up peeling a little bit, right? Because we've done an exfoliation, okay? So it'll subside. They can use a lot of serums like hyaluronic acid serum. That would be great, or a moisturizer. But doing a little bit of sloughing of the skin, a little bit of peeling, shows that we've accelerated this dead skin cells, so that's not a bad thing, all right? They mustn't touch their skin after they visit. There's no reason to worry about the skin getting darker on the face, all right? Because we're only working on vellus hair. Now, I want to tell you, a lot of my clients may have some sideburn action, right? So sometimes you may think, oh, I can just take that right off and fix that up for you. Remember, that may be terminal hair, not the peach fuzz. And you want your clients to be comfortable with what you're removing. So when I do dermaplaning, I talk about if I am going to do between the brows, the dermaplaning, or I'm going to do close to the sideburns, I'm going to show the client the mirror, and I'm going to say, how far up do you want me to go? Because I want to, some people like their sideburns. So don't feel that, you know, you're doing them a favor. Make sure you're talking about this. The other thing that I want to talk about quickly is licensure, right? I cannot tell you whether you can or can't do dermaplaning, right? It's up to your state, okay? It's up to your state and your license, and is it within your scope of practice? And then also, do you have a liability insurance? Do you have insurance for it, and is it in your scope of practice? Okay, and it's really, yes, it's shaving the face, but it's a much deeper shave than it is when you are just using a regular blade, okay? So the benefits, let's recap, is exfoliation, deep pore cleansing, removing of the excess of vellus hair, improves the dull complexion, all right, increases product absorption, can be done as a standalone, so they can book their dermaplaning facial, or they can add it on to most of their facial. A dermaplaning plus peel is an awesome treatment, can be combined with other modalities, is a great combination with chemical peels, can remove peach fuzz, and can be removed, it removes dead skin cells, all right? So let's look at dermaplaning versus shaving. A dermaplane does not change the appearance or structure of hair growth. It removes vellus hair. It's a great alternative to clients that are prone to hyperpigmentation. Shaving does change the appearance of hair purely because of the angle that you cut the hair on. It makes it appear darker or thicker, removes terminal hair, and can cause hyperpigmentation problems, okay, especially if you're causing trauma to the skin. Yes, we do have some contraindications, pustular acne, but there are very few contraindications. You can, of course, do clients that are Fitzpatrick 1 through 6, okay, and their makeup is going to sit flawlessly, their skin is going to look flawless, and this is something that you can do monthly. Of course, diabetes, people that have inability to heal, blood thinners, very thin skin, raised or open lesions, eczema or dermatitis, moles, we don't want to cut off moles, right? Recent chemical peel topicals, if the skin is thin, so I would recommend that they stay off their retin-A or their tretinoins 1 week prior, 1 week post, and any of the exfoliants 1 week post, because we have exfoliated their skin. We've done a deep exfoliation. Sunburn, skin cancers, Accutane, they have to be off Accutane 6 months to a year, and then any vascular lesions. All right, we want to do a thorough skin analysis to decide if this client is a candidate for this skin treatment, and also what is your client trying to achieve. I always ask my clients, what would you like to change about your skin? And my client will always, you know, when I look at the skin, don't say, oh my goodness, your face is hairy, I can fix that, right? They may not have even noticed or be aware or even concerned about it, right? But the benefits of this procedure is definitely the product penetration, the makeup sitting on the skin flawlessly, the alleviating of the hyperpigmentation, and just that beautiful smooth complexion. So describing the benefits, and once your client have tried this, they really are going to be excited. Now, burns, rosacea, if it's severe rosacea, I have mild rosacea and I love dermaplaning, but there could be raised lesions with rosacea. So you've got to really look at that. Pustules, skin tags and moles, we're not removing those, okay? And if they have a lot of skin tags or a lot of moles, it's very difficult to work around those. So items that you're going to need in your treatment room to be able to do this procedure is, of course, gloves. We are wearing gloves from the beginning and the end of the treatments now, and make sure that you have a few pairs of gloves on hand in case you need to change your gloves. If you do cut your gloves by mistake, you need a skin prepping solution. We have a peel prep in Elaine Sterling Skincare that not only has the peel prep, it also has tyrosinase inhibitors and brighteners in there. So that's excellent. You could use my clarifying toner, which does have some great peel prepping solutions like witch hazel in it as well, or you could use alcohol. I then want to thoroughly degrease the skin with a gel cleanser. Why? Because I don't want to trap any oil in the follicle. My idea with this treatment is to have the skin nice and dry so that I can dermaplane the skin. Now, I do another dermaplaning. Remember, I was going to tell you about another dermaplaning procedure that I do. This is on dry skin. I do something that's called oil planing. And here's another takeaway. You could do CBD oil planing. What do? You use your carrier oil, which could be a jojoba oil or a blend of non-comedogenic heavyweight oils with your CBD drops. I do a beautiful massage with my hands, with my gloves and my hands, and then I dermaplane over that. So I've got my anti-inflammatory benefits of the CBD. I've got my very relaxation massage, and then it's very hydrating because I'm dermaplaning on top of that oil, and then I could put a mask when I'm finished the dermaplaning. So that's an incredible hydrating CBD dermaplaning treatment. If you could just use oil, you don't have to use CBD, but again, you could upgrade. You could do an oil planing, and then you could do an upgrade with your CBD on top of that. You definitely want to, your skin's going to be very dry and very thirsty afterwards, so you definitely want to put serums and moisturizer and SPF on. Okay, we only use chem-free SPF at Elaine Sterling Skincare. The aesthetic wipe I always have next to my table, because when I do my dermaplaning procedure, I'm going to wipe my blade, and of course my dermaplaning tool, and of course my waste container, and my sharps container for the dermaplaning blade. All right, so my movements, I want to have a very relaxed wrist, and I'm going to take my time. You're going to hold the skin taut. If any of you do microdermabrasion, you're going to hold your skin taut, right? You're going to make sure that it's controlled movements, and you're going to glide your hand, and I glide my blade back, and then I go ahead and move it forward. Glide my hand back, and then move it forward. And I want to make sure I tell my client a couple of things. I definitely hold the skin taut because a lot of us don't have tight skin like when we were younger. So if there's a looser skin, you want to make sure you're holding it taut. You want to have a method or a pattern. I do a similar thing to microdermabrasion, where I do a similar, like, sort of a cross patch that I do. You want to make sure that you're not moving the blade over the face. If your client needs to sneeze, if your client needs to cough, if she needs to say something, she needs to let you know, because you can't have somebody cough with the blade, right? And you definitely want to hold a pattern. So if they need to cough, or if they need to sneeze, you need to stop what you're doing and then allow the client to cough or sneeze. Here are some of the devices that I particularly like to use, and I wanted to share them with you. I really like the total disposable handle. The other thing that I do, I wanted to let you know, is that I open it up in front of the client, okay? So this one here, the disposable scalpels, you actually dispose of the whole handle. And that's why I love it, because I open it up in front of the client so she knows it's a brand new one, it's in a sterile pouch, it's not been opened, okay? And then I have my gloves on, I use it, and then I throw it in my sharps container, the whole thing, and I don't reuse it. So I particularly like that one. I have this one on the right in my spa too, for my estheticians, where the handle, I go ahead and barbicide, and then I just, the blades, I put in the disposable blade remover and container that's sealed. So there's are the ones that I particularly like to use. I know there are lots of companies out there, and there's a lot of different ones, but I wanted to just share with you the ones that I particularly like to use. So I have a biohazard sharps container that I go ahead and throw the entire blade with the handle away once I'm finished using it. And then if you, on the cover of this container, you'll see a website, and it'll actually let you know what areas in town you're able to drop that off. Places that the people drop off used needles and things. There's actually, once it's full, there's actually places in town you can drop them off, right? So that's really nice to know. All right, so, oh my goodness, you've nicked your client. So I recommend you practice on at least 10 people before you go ahead and work on clients. I always let my clients know that there is a possibility that I could nick them, okay? I let them know, all right? I also let them know that if I do nick them, I'm gonna stop the treatment, I'm gonna wipe the area with alcohol, I'm gonna apply pressure. I want you to remember that it's a paper cut, all right? So you've really got to focus, relax, concentrate, and then of course throw, if you, double bag, if you did nick the area and there was some blood, double bag it and go ahead and throw it in the infected waste container. All right, the basics. The blade should always face you, all right? Overlap by 20%, kind of like microdermabrasion, right? Your body should move and adjust to the client's face. Passes adjusted for the skin condition and skin type. So for example, maybe, you see my skin, there's a lot of redness in a certain area, right? Maybe you're not going to dermaplane that area, or you're only going to do one pass in that area, or it's going to be a lighter pass, etc. You're going to be able to really know the client. Also, make sure that you're moving the client's face and that you're getting a nice angle and you're relaxing that wrist. Dispose and disinfect accordingly, and practice a lot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move over to the video. Let me see if I can get this right. And let me go ahead and share my video with you guys.
I believe in you.
I thank you. Can you see it, Josh? The clients love it. Why? Because it removes peach fuzz from the skin, from the face, as well as is great for hyperpigmentation. And you can combine it with the hydrofacials as well as with chemical peels. So I cleanse my client's skin with the Daily Gentle Cleanser, with a foaming cleanser, to thoroughly remove oil from the skin, because we want all the oil removed and any dirt and debris. And then now I'm going to go ahead and use my clarifying toner, or you can use alcohol, or my peel prep to remove any other dirt, debris, oils on the skin. And then we're going to go ahead and start the dermaplaning. So I'm going to use a blade, a number 10 surgical blade. I use a disposable blade and handle. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. I'm also going to remind my client that I have a blade near her face, and that if she needs to cough or sneeze, she needs to please let me know so that I can move the blade away from the client. I'm also going to have a 4x4 to remove the dead skin cells and the dead skin cells, as well as the hair or the peach fuzz, the vellus hair, and then I can wipe it off on my blade. I'm going to make sure I use my magnifying lamp so that I can see what I'm doing. It's going to be helpful to me. And I'm also going to show my client that it is a brand new blade and it has not been opened, okay? I'm never going to hold the blade over her face or over her eyes. I'm going to be very careful with the blade. And I am going to tell my client that I could nick her, and that if I do, it's quite all right. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, and I'm going to go ahead and it'll just be like a paper cut. So what I like to do is I like to glide the blade down and then slowly move up. Glide down and then slowly move up. Glide it down on the face and slowly move up. So I'm just gliding it against the skin and then moving up. Gliding it and then moving up. Gliding it back and then moving up. And kind of like microdermabrasion, or I'm doing the face in sections, and I'm also holding the skin taut so that I get all of and then I can go ahead and wipe my blade off onto the 4x4 aesthetic wipe. So I'm just going to take my time, and this blade is then deposited in a sharps container. So the first thing I do is I cleanse the skin twice with a foaming cleanser. I then go ahead and degrease the skin. With a peel prepping solution to further degrease the skin. And the benefit of this service is when you have the vellus hair, it does stop the serums from penetrating. So the benefit of this is that the serums are going to penetrate so much better, and the active ingredients in the products. It's also excellent for exfoliation, as well as for brightening on the skin. So we'll be able to remove some of the hyperpigmentation that she was concerned about on her skin. I think she's going to love this. Her skin's going to look a lot more brighter and a lot more even. And this is something that she could do once a month on her skin. So I'm going to ask her to fold in her lips. Just a little bit less, please. And then I'm going to angle my blade, and I'm going to remind her that if she needs to sneeze or cough, that she needs to let me know so that I do not. Okay, fold in your lips, please. Thank you. So I just go up and then I down. Then after, lift your chin, please. Then after I have done this, I'm going to tone the skin and apply a serum, a moisturizer, and an SPF. And this is something that she could do once a month. I think that she would really love to see the results on her skin. But I also always remind the client that I could nick them. I don't usually, but sometimes it happens, you know, and that you will always let the client know if you do, and you will stop the service and you will do, you know, compression on the area and alcohol, etc. But that's also why we wear gloves during the whole service. Okay, well, let's move to the other side. So if I'm moving to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and move my aesthetic wipe to the other side. I never want to hold the blade across the face. And I'm just going to keep working. Holding the skin taut, that's helpful.
And you're at about a 45-degree angle. And this is a number 10 blade. Holding the skin taut, and I glide it back and then forward, glide it back, and then glide it forward, glide it back, and then glide it forward. Move the client's head because it makes it easier for you. So that you can move, see all of that incredible peach fuzz that we're getting off the client. It's really going to be brightening on her skin. I think she's going to love it. Holding the skin taut, move forward as far as what they see on their skin with the brightening of the skin. The other thing you can do is we call it oil planing. You can do, what I love is a CBD oil, do a massage, and then dermaplane right on top of that CBD oil. That is fabulous. That's also great for people with very dehydrated skin because you can really hydrate their skin and you're using the oil. So that adds another element. That would be a add-on. So I'm just working here in the glabella area. And then before I stop, what I'm doing, I'll go back and check the face in case I missed an area. Remember, this is removing dead skin cells as well as the vellus hair, and it really is brightening on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and just have a look everywhere and see if I missed. I feel like I missed. See, I can angle the dermaplaning blade on the mouth. Lift your chin, please. Thank you. But she doesn't need to use that for 48 hours because it is an exfoliant. And I'm going to go ahead and use some vitamin C serum, which is going to be nice and brightening on her skin. Press that into her skin. And you could do a mask now, and then you could massage the décolleté. So you could do a whole dermaplaning facial, which the clients love. They pay between $95 and $115 for this. And your blade is going to cost you $1 to $5. So, and you do get ones where you disinfect the handle and you the blade you throw away. So whatever you prefer is fine. I'm going to put some Total Everyday Hydration. Her skin's going to be thirsty. I'm going to remind her to put moisturizer on and her serums at nighttime because her skin's going to be very thirsty now that we've removed the vellus hair and the dead skin cells, which block the active ingredients from going into the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some SPF and remind her that she needs to be wearing SPF every day to protect her skin. And again, this would be a lovely service for her with a hydrofacial once a month. That's what I would recommend for her next time. And also we have a lot of extractions. The hydrofacial will really help with that. but her skin is really glowing and it's really beautiful. So I'm very excited, and I'm going to show her the mirror, and that is dermaplaning.
Okay, Josh, are you with me?
I am with you.
Okay, so we have some time for lots of questions today.
Oh, yes. Lots of questions. Well, we got quite a few in the Q&A. So let me take a look here and see. Don't forget, y'all, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A button, not in the chat, okay? So let's see. We already talked about, so Tatiana we already answered this question, but it's worth repeating. So Tatiana, she asked and said, does it make more hair grow on your face? And we've confirmed that that is not the case when you don't.
And just, I'm not Steven Spielberg, so the recordings are, I realized the mag lamp was over the face, but I was more concentrating on not nicking my model and keeping her safe.
Important.
So I really didn't realize that the magnifying lamp was, in the way, but, I promise to try and get better at this filming situation.
So let's see. So Dulce asked a question, and I don't think we answered the specific question, because you already talked about cutting someone and explaining why it could happen and stopping and all that. But Dulce asks what to do if someone says they want a refund or they're unhappy because you've cut them.
Well, the issue, that's why you got to tell them up front. And you're not going to cut them. It's kind of like a paper cut, right? So it kind of goes away immediately. I find that also really holding that skin taut, especially around the cheek area, and if you have clients that have more mature skin, okay, I don't want to discount. You could always say, you know what, this time it'd be complimentary. Love for you to come back in 4 weeks and do it again. But that's why you should really practice. I honestly, I cut one person, which was a friend of mine, with the Dermaflash, not the Dermaplaning, because we were chatting, but she was my friend, so she didn't mind. So every time she comes for a service, I tell her I'm going to cut her.
No worries on that. All right, talked about that. Okay, so someone anonymous, these people are anonymously asking questions. They ask, what kind of oils do you recommend or use for the oil planing?
Oh, so it's as long as it's a non-comedogenic oil, it's not a heavyweight oil. So your jojoba is a fabulous one. Apricot kernel oil or a blend of oil. Just make sure those palm oils and those coconut oils are very heavy and tend to be comedogenic. So, I love sweet almond, I love jojoba. Grapeseed tends to be a little heavy, but it's okay.
Would sunflower be one you could use?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So they also, going back to the oil, they asked, with dry skin, do you apply the oil before?
Yes.
And during?
So I'm actually going to do a beautiful massage, which is really nice. It's a really added value. So I'm going to do my beautiful Elaine Sterling massage with the oil. And then I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to go ahead and do my dermaplaning. And so you could even, after you dermaplane, apply a mask straight on top of that, because you could leave some of the oil on the skin, or if you want to tone and then go ahead and do a mask. And then while the mask is on, I massage the décolleté. Because remember, it's a dermaplaning facial.
I'm going to have to Google this because I don't even know what this is. But someone asked a question I've never heard of this thing before. They said, Ruby asked, if you have hirsutism, does dermaplaning help?
Oh, no, it's just going to remove the hair that's there, but the hair's going to go back.
What's hirsutism? I don't even know what that is.
Just the overgrowth.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
There you go. I learn something new every day. Thank you for educating me. So let's see here. So Nadia asks, does oil planing require more passes? Like if you're using oil instead of doing it dry?
No. Again, I'm going to do the passes depending on the client's skin.
Let's see. When using, okay, Jamie asks, when using the CBD oil, do you still use the degrease agent or do you skip that step?
When I'm doing what? Sorry, when I'm doing the oil planing?
The CBD oil, do you still?
Yeah, I still degrease the skin because the client comes in with dirt, debris, makeup, oils, environmental stuff. You know, she's walking into the salon with stuff on her skin. And I want to be able to clean her skin as much as possible because, you know, I don't want to. So yeah, still going to degrease, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my oil massage.
So I have a few repeats of the same question. So I think it makes sense to kind of hit on this again. So if you could just kind of go over the combining of a chemical peel with dermaplaning and how that works together.
Sure. So I'm going to dermaplane, and then I'm going to apply the peel, and it's going to be spicy.
So they should expect the client to feel it more, is what you're saying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But also, you know, I don't do a medical grade peel. I do a milder peel, a soothing peel. My vitamin C peel is awesome. You know, I always about 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake, and making sure the client is comfortable. So I'm going to start with my milder peels before I go on to something like an emerald peel that's going to be spicy.
Spicy. I call it when I feel something, I have microneedling done or something like that, I call it super fun. That feels super fun.
Yeah. Super fun.
So Anonymous asked this, I don't think we talked about this. Do you do the nose area, and how close to the ocular area?
Oh, I always just stay around the orbital rim. There shouldn't be really hair growing on their eyelids. So I'm staying on the orbital rim. Now, something that I can do, I don't know if I can show you with my face, because obviously it helps fine lines and wrinkles as well. So if I do microdermabrasion or microneedling or dermaplaning, I can take my finger, okay, my gloved finger obviously, and I can pull down. So you see, if I pull down on my orbital rim, then I can get some of the skin below the orbital rim, right? I can take that skin and I can move it below the orbital rim, and that's going to help me. So that's a little tool you can also do with, because you never want to microderm because that skin is so thin, but sometimes that's where the fine lines and wrinkles are, right around that orbital area. So I'll take my little finger, I'll be able to pull it down and then do the blade if I needed to get a little bit closer where the fine lines and wrinkles are. Does that make sense?
I think so. Quatisha asks, is it better to use nitrile gloves versus latex?
Oh yeah, no, because people have allergies to latex.
Yeah.
So I don't use, and if you're going to use latex gloves, you're going to have a sign in the retail area in the check-in. And so I always use nitrile gloves.
And then kind of similar, there's a bunch of kind of repeats of the same question. So I just kind of want you to go through it again. If you could just kind of go through again. We talked about chemical peels and dermaplaning. We dermaplane them in chemical peel. But what do we do if you're not doing a chemical peel, let's say? What would you recommend to follow up with post dermaplaning to help calm the skin? Would it be a serum, a mask, or?
Well, I'm going to do a facial, remember. So I'm going to do the dermaplaning. I'm going to tone the skin. I'm going to apply a mask, a soothing, calming, hydrating mask, and then I'm going to go ahead and, while the mask is on, massage the décolleté. Red LED would be fabulous to do afterwards to really calm down the skin. So that would be, yeah, cold compresses.
That answers a lot of the ones that are in here, so that's good. And then here's one that's interesting. Carol asks, can you dermaplane in an upwards direction instead of an outwards direction when dermaplaning the cheek area? Yeah,
it doesn't, remember, we vellus hair. We're not worried about the direction of the hair growth. It's not like you're shaving terminal hair like on a men's beard. So I'm sometimes doing a crosshatch, kind of like microdermabrasion. But I'm just making sure that the blade is pointed towards me and I have a rhythm. So on the forehead, I tend to go up and then out. And the same with the cheeks. I tend to go up and then I tend to go diagonally as well. So I kind of have a little bit of microdermabrasion. What I like about my disposable blades, like I invented them, the blades that I use, because it has a pointed tip, I can turn it and really just get close to that lip area. So that because and ask your client to fold in the lip, and then so that you can get, and I can turn that blade around and kind of just, and I'm very careful. And then when I go right underneath the mandible. I do everything I do, I go under the mandible, because it's where a lot of women show age, and you sometimes there's hair under there as well. I get my client to raise their neck, and then I have a nice flat edge that I can work on. So get your client to really participate in the situation, because you don't have to do a Cirque du Soleil contortion to get to the area that you're working on.
So people are asking also about the blade you're using. Do you recommend a specific brand or type or anything like that?
Well, I showed you the brands that I used in the slide. I mean, it was, you want me to go back to that slide?
Yeah, I think I think because people are asking, they may have missed that.
But again, and I know there's companies that particularly sell dermaplaning blades. So let me just find it.
Everybody grab your screenshot.
Oops, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. This is when Elaine goes mad. Okay.
Take your time.
And share. There, is that it? Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Yep.
Okay.
There it is.
So these are the brands that I use. Like I said, I could tell you other brands. I don't. It's just and I have one esthetician that likes the one on the right. I always use that. I love things that are disposable. That I have to worry. You know, obviously the one on the right you can fully immerse in the barber side, and you dispose the blade. The one on the left, you throw the whole thing away.
Got it.
Very useful.
And did you say you could do dermaplaning on the nose? I think you may have.
Yeah, you can. I mean, sometimes the client has a hairy nose, sometimes they don't. Okay. But again, you know, you're going to have to really try and flatten that nose. Right. And be very careful. And that's why I have that's why I like that blade. It has a tip, I can move it. So some people have hairy, I don't always do the nose. I mean, if there's hair on the nose, then I may, but I'm not always doing the nose.
Here's a good question. Taylor asks, what is the best way to keep the skin taut when oil planing because the skin is slick from oil and can be hard to get a good grip?
Well, the oil helps you glide. Actually, when you're practicing, that's something I may recommend you do is start with oil planing, because you'll see that the oil is going to help your blade glide, and it's actually going to be a lot easier. It's just going to slide through that oil really easily. But of course, your client can move their head, they can lift their head, they can, you know, there's all ways that you get it, and of course your hands, you can put another pair of gloves on and have dry gloves and hold. But you're going to see that that's going to be the chance, you know, you're not going to be stuck on a dry skin. It's going to glide so easily across that skin.
And then kind of, I think we're about to wrap up because I think we've answered most of them, but people are asking over and over kind of about the gentleman. So if you've talked about this, great, but just visit the gentleman, what you recommend with the beard area or just avoiding?
Yes. So, okay, so with the guys, you can really create some nice cool lines on the top of their beard, because sometimes, you know, they're a little uneven on you know, where the beard ends. So you're going to dermaplaning this area, but when it comes to the beard, you can show them the mirror and really talk about and just get a nice kind of straight edge on either side. You know what I mean? But right. If they have a beard or a go-to, you're doing everywhere there's not a go-to, but then you're just going to really try and just have some sharp lines, I guess is what the best way.
I mean, speaking from myself, like as a gentleman who has a beard that tends towards ingrowns, I would never get dermaplaning on my beard area, and I would.
No, I don't do it on the beard area, but like, does your beard like stop at different places on your
absolutely,
face?
Yeah, it totally does. Like yeah. I have an even hair growth, you know, here. So.
Right. Sorry, I have my doggies. So like, yeah, so that's what I mean, is that you could just kind of even out the top for them, because sometimes the beard is not stopping at the same place.
Right, and I think I know the answer to this question, but this is an interesting one, and I think the answer is kind of obvious, I think, but Anonymous asked about maintaining the skin after electrolysis on the face. So basically you're using dermaplaning after you've had electrolysis to remove the hair. And I would say that, yeah, that would be something you could do. Well,
electrolysis is for terminal hair.
Right.
So we're not working on terminal hair. We're working on vellus hair. So.
But I'm saying if the hair's been removed by electrolysis, you can still dermaplane the area afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends what the electrolysis says, how long it needs to heal, and when you can have exfoliation. And remember not to exfoliate the skin for about a week, because it is a much deeper exfoliation than just shaving the face with a regular razor.
So everybody heard that. Remember, 7 days, similar to any kind of exfoliation, we're going to wait 7 days before we do anything after dermaplaning for exfoliation. So because that was another kind of common thread. So I think we've kind of covered most of these questions. There are a couple of particular ones, but they're very long, so I don't want to get into too much. But time, same place next week for reopening your spa safely with Elaine Sterling. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us. Happy Friday, happy weekend, and have a lovely day.
Love you, all of you. Bye.